Okay, so good evening once again. No, I'll be admitting some. Okay, wait. All right. So for these review session tonight, we will be covering some concepts no in physics and chemistry. Um, these are mixed no concepts in physics and chemistry, and we'll try to uh cover some of the salient concepts and some of the basic concepts as well for us to be able to reacquaint no the different concepts that we need to remember no as your preparation for your board exam. All right, so let me proceed. So remember our goal no for you to be able to pass and top the board exam. All right, so last 2 days no today and tomorrow, I hope I will be able to provide additional information, okay, apart from your of course prior knowledge, and of course after our week long review you have to uh you know submit yourselves no to more drills so that you'll be able to practice no several test items no pertaining to your majors. All right, so let's claim it and let's manifest that we'll be able no, to pass the board exam. I know that it kind of scary because this will be the first time that we will be you will be no uh you will be tested no, in the new curriculum, particularly in the sciences, right? So as I mentioned, I will be focusing tonight. Let me just look for my laser pointer. Physics and chemistry, no. So based on the uh issued table of specifications. So chemistry questions will actually comprise 35 items of your 150 item test for your majorship, and then 18 items for physics. All right. So we'll see, no, um, how far have we actually learned, no, some of these basic concepts and salient concepts as you interact with me again, no, through the chat box. Hopefully, you'll be able to try answering, no, our questions that I'll be posting in the slide. Okay. So let me first admit more people. All right, sige, let's start for the first question. Hindi muna pala, no? I'll be sharing pala muna the learning outcome. So, this is actually based on the Professional Regulatory Board for Professional Teachers, Board Resolution number 11, series of 2022, so that you will have a guide also if you do, for example, your post review later on, no? Processing some of the concepts you might want to check no on these outcomes. So for in organic chemistry, under the chemistry strand, first is to distinguish the three states of matter and the types of mixture. No, so basically the properties no of these states of matter. No, I was able to discuss this during the Gen Ed Science for SLRC Bataan, and hopefully I will be able to cover that also for Gen Ed Science, no, or a Bicol, no. I'm not sure yet of the schedule. All right. So then 1.2, manifest understanding of chemical formula and chemical notation. So we have salient concepts also that I've included that pertains to chemical formula and some chemical notation. For organic chemistry, relating the structural characteristics and properties of organic compounds, as well as to describe the basic reactions of organic compounds. Okay? Sige. All right. So describing the basic reactions no, of these particular organic compounds and the different organic substances and organic compounds. Okay. And of course, lastly, on the chemistry strand, biochemistry, show understanding of the structure, the functions, and reactions of macromolecules. So we have introduced in the previous review discussions some of the functions and reactions no, of macromolecules. No? So we have been covering, I mean, we have been discussing these four macromolecules, and how do we actually make sense, no, of their functions and their contributions, no, to to the sustainability of life. All right, and also discuss how bacteria, viruses, and chemicals affect human health. So, may mga ilan ata akong naisama, no, questions about that. All right, but we have been talking a lot of pathogenic microorganisms, no, in our previous discussion. Okay. Then for physics, for the first part, classical physics, thermodynamics, electricity, magnetism, waves, and optics. So demonstrate the relation of heat, work, and temperature to energy, radiation, and physical properties of matter. So I have sample questions about these concepts, no? Particularly some concepts on electricity, thermodynamics as well. Okay, the concept of temperature, no, what is temperature, and how do we actually see these concepts in the real life context. And then illustrate the transfer of energy from one place to another and from one form to another. So basically, there are also questions na mga ganyan, no, that you will be encountering, no, for example, from one form of energy to another. Okay? And then part of course still of classical physics discuss the uses of electromagnetism for motors, generators, transformers, X-ray, etc. I think I have a couple of questions about this one. And then distinguish the characteristics and functions of waves and optics. So we'll see some questions related to waves, no, electromagnetic waves, radio waves as well. Then number 2 is modern physics, characterize the basic features of modern physics, the Planck's quantum theory and Einstein's theory of relativity, and distinguish between classical physics and modern physics. So basically, I have included in the modern physics part some basic, no, physics concepts that still be very relevant and might be repeated, no, by PRC again, okay, in your majorship. Okay, so there, I think we are now ready. No? Are you ready? Are you ready now to interact? Yes. Can I see some yeses? All right. This is a disadvantage of online. I feel like I'm not talking to anyone, but I can see naman some of your faces. All right. Sige. So yes, thank you so much. All right. Okay, may mga excited na sumagot. Okay. All right, since hydrogen is reactive chemical element, with what other element will you combine it to form water? Oxygen. Is it carbon? Is it oxygen? Is it nitrogen? Or is it sodium? Okay. All right, I can see a lot of a flood of bees here. Yes, no. So of course that is your oxygen. So basically it is something to do with the composition, no, of these particular element, no, the combination of these hydrogen and oxygen to form or to form water. And water basically is actually one important, no, inorganic compound, no, in the human body. All right. Next question, of the following, which will you identify as the main source of energy that come from plants in the form of sugar and starch and functions as one of the structural components of living cells? Is it fats, proteins, vitamins, carbohydrates? So this is something to do with your biochemistry, no? Understanding macromolecules. Although we have discussed this, no, in the past review days that we had. So these are carbohydrates, no. So during your elementary, diba, remember you have your go, grow, and glow foods, no. Basically, this particular grouping, these particular grouping is child friendly kasi, so that it will be able children will be able to remember them, no. But when we say go foods, what particular nutrients are we referring if we say go foods? These are foods rich in what particular macromolecule or what particular biomolecule? Go foods, these are, yes, these are the carbohydrates. Okay, so carbohydrates are actually our sources, no, of energy, so that we'll be able to do bodily processes. How about grow foods? If grow foods are carbohydrates, how about grow foods? Alright. So grow
Protein.
foods are actually proteins. That's correct, no? Why? Why do we actually classify grow foods as proteins? Because these are responsible
Growing.
for what? Proteins actually functions as, let's admit people, it's for basically, no, for the repair, no, foreign out tissues, growth, yes, no, growth and development. So basically, that is why humans are considered to be protein machine because we are constantly, no, producing proteins. Okay? So that is for grow foods. How about glow foods? Ano naman yung mga glow foods? If carbohydrate is to go food, grow food is for protein, what foods naman yung mga glow foods? So glow foods are actually our, okay, that's correct, vitamins and minerals. All right, that's correct. So at least, no, if ever lang, no, it could be asked in your gen ed or in your majorship. All right, so these are some of the categorizations of carbohydrates. So we mentioned this before, the monosaccharide, no, one sugar molecule, like for example, the glucose, the fructose, and the galactose. All right. So these are considered as our monosaccharide. And our simplest sugar is of course monosaccharide. And the most typical example is of course our glucose. Now for disaccharides, two sugar molecules, you have your maltose, your sucrose, and then your lactose. Okay? So these are disaccharides composed of two monosaccharides. No? We also have oligosaccharides, 2 to 10 sugar molecules like raffinose, stachyose, yan. And also polysaccharides, 10 or more sugar molecules. Like these are complex, no, carbohydrates. You have starches, glycogen, and cellulose. So basically, sometimes the PRC will ask you to determine, no, their classification, whether they are classified as a monosaccharide or as a disaccharide, an oligosaccharide, or a polysaccharide. Okay, so next. All right, so for the disaccharide, no, for example, if we're going to have glucose and fructose, no, we will produce sucrose. So sometimes there are questions that will ask you, know, for example, the uh, components, no, for example, of these particular disaccharide. So you know that glucose plus fructose is sucrose, galactose plus glucose is lactose, while glucose plus glucose is maltose. Okay, so basically these are your disaccharide. Okay? So next question, the carrier molecules in the cell membrane which facilitates the transportation of large molecules in the cell are actually blank. A, nucleic acids, B, lipids, C, proteins, D, carbohydrates. Right, so what do you think is these carrier molecules, no? Okay, in the cell membrane, facilitating transport, no, of large molecules in the cell. Okay, these are our, yes, these are our proteins. So a lot of you got it correct. So proteins are actually carrier molecules, no, in our cell membrane. Okay, so basically they actually do facilitate transport, no, of large molecules in the cell. Okay. All right. So yeah, we have this, no, essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Pasadahan lang natin just in case maligaw, no, sa inyong majorship. For example, you will be asked to identify an essential amino acid, or probably to make sure that the lists are all essential amino acids. So we have histidine, no, under essential amino acids. We have histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, okay, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. So basically, these are considered as our essential amino acids. Now, while the non-essential amino acids, we have the alanine, arginine, aspartic acid, asparagine, cysteine, glutamic acid, glutamine, glycine, proline, serine, and tyrosine. All right. So histidine actually was once thought not to be essential only for infants, but now it is now known that small amounts are also needed for adults. No? While for arginine, these amino acids can be conditionally essential if there are either inadequate precursors or inadequate enzymes available to create them in the body. So this can happen in certain illnesses and in premature infants. So just in case, no, these tawag dito, familiar lang tayo sa sum of these, no, essential and non-essential amino acid. And remember that amino acids are actually monomers of our proteins, no? So these are the building blocks of proteins, okay? So some of the complete proteins, foods that contain all 9 essential amino acids, no? So we have meat, hemp seeds, fish, eggs, quinoa, chia seeds, no? Kaya maganda din siya, for example, sa ilagay, for example, sa mga diet food ninyo, amaranth, dairy, poultry, and pumpkin seeds. So these are some, no, with complete proteins containing the 9 essential amino acids. Okay. All right. So next question. Of lipids, which are the most abundant and useful for storage and insulations? Example, whales and seals kept safe from cold temperature. Okay. A, phospholipids, B, steroids, C, waxes, D, fats. Okay. All right, I can see several, no? Okay, I can see several letters and then I can see these now. All right, the most abundant and useful for storage is, of course, our fats. That's correct, no? So fats actually are the most abundant and very useful for is storage, no? Yes, it is, no? So it is also considered as a lipid, no? Remember the yung fish oil, no? There was a question here. Is fish oil can be considered as a fat? So remember in tawag dito, in lipids, no, we have the oil, no, we have the fat, the waxes, no? So these steroids, no, these are actually several, no, types, no, of lipids or fats. So basically, good source, no, either it's saturated or non-saturated. Ay, hindi ko naririnig. Ay, saglit guys. Volume off pala ako. So wala akong naririnig na ingay. Saglit ha. I cannot hear. Sorry. Kaya hindi ako nag-mute. Wait lang ha. Ay, i-on ko lang. I mean, with volume up ko lang. Saglit. I stop share ha. Saglit. Kaya pala ako lang naririnig na ingay. Kasi nga, naka-volume 0 ako. Ayan. Sorry. Sige. I'll be the one who will mute. Kaya hindi, in the past days, nakaano naman ako, nakaabang ko lagi. Sorry. Hindi lang naka-on yung sound ko. Sige. Hindi, wala akong naririnig na ingay. Sige. Okay. Sige. Okay na ba ako? Wala na ba akong kalaban? Sorry, I cannot, I'm not, hindi ko siya na-change. Alright, pa-off ko. Sorry. Okay na ba? Alright, sorry. Ayan, naka-on na yung aking volume. So I can hear sounds na. Okay, sige. Sorry for that. Okay, sige. Nakaabang ako lagi. Kaya minsan, makikita niyo ako nakaano sa ano, kasi nagmi-mute ako. Ayan na naman ang annotation. Saglit. Mag-stop sharing ako, may nag-annotate. Saglit lang. I-disable ko din yung annotation ng ating screen. Sorry for that. Re-share lang ako, mag-disable lang ako ng annotation para walang makapag-annotate. Ayan. Okay, sige. We're good now. All right, so that's for fats, no? So next question. So yeah, we also have polymer formation, no? Large molecules or macromolecules make up most things in the cell. So we have carbohydrates, no? Sugars, no? The monodige and polysaccharides. Lipids are macromolecules but do not form polymers, no? These include the fats and phospholipids. So among the four macromolecules, only lipids no do not form polymers, just in case matanong lang din siya sa board. Then proteins function, structure, conformation, folding. Simple protein changes no can cause disease and determination of protein structure. Then we have nucleic acids like the deoxyribonucleic acid or blueprint of life and the ribonucleic acid. Okay? So yeah. So next question, these are the best examples of lipids which are soluble in solvents such as alcohol, except A fats, B oils, C proteins, D phospholipids. These are all part of our biochem. What's your answer, teachers? Okay. Okay, I can see C's here. Yes, a lot of C's. All right, so that's correct. No, proteins is an exemption. So all of which are actually best examples of lipids which are soluble in solvents such as alcohol. Are lipids soluble in water? Are lipids soluble in water? No. Okay. So they're not soluble now in water. So anong property yon ng matter? No, there are actually water and lipid or oil are actually what? What particular property? Yes, the miscibility. They are immiscible, meaning they cannot be mixed. No? Yes, because it is hydrophobic. No, this has something to do with polarity. But the property, no, miscibility is a property where two substances can be mixed. But for in the case of oil and water, they are immiscible. Okay. So we have unsaturated fats and omega oils, and saturated or trans fats here. So it's liquid at room temperature. Texture is usually oily and usually found in plant products. Why it's good for us? It causes higher levels of high density lipoprotein, which is a good cholesterol level in the body. So monounsaturated, it is often in small amounts, like mostly found in vegetables, olives, avocados, peanuts, no? Ayan. Avocado, no? So it's a good source also of several vitamins, no? So Persea americana. Now, well, for the other hand, on the other hand, saturated or trans fats, no, they are solid at room temperature, freezes easily, usually found in animal products and some tropical plants and oils. Why it's bad for us, causes higher levels of LDL or low density lipoprotein, which are bad, cholesterol level in the body. Okay, it reduces your intake, mostly found in animal products such as beef, lamb, and butter. So that's for unsaturated fats and the trans fats. Okay. So next, among the elements which has been the most useful to man, as evidenced by a manufacturing can, kitchen, utensils, and watches. Is it boron, chromium, cobalt, or aluminum compounds? Okay, I can see a lot of these here. Of course, no, these are aluminum compounds. So aluminum is really a light metal, which is really very useful, no, in these particular function or particular use. No? So that is aluminum. Okay, what's the chemical symbol for aluminum? What's the chemical symbol for aluminum? That's Al. What's the chemical symbol for gold? Sige nga. Baka yan, may mga ganyang drill kayo, di ba? Baka may mga ganyang tanong. How about silver? That's AU. That's correct. AU is gold. AG is silver. That's correct. Ang favorite din ni PRC, tungsten. What is the chemical symbol for tungsten? Yes, it's W. No, it's wall. Ano na nga yung W na? Okay, wolfram. Yes, no? Yes. How about flerovium? What's the chemical symbol for flerovium? One of the newly named elements. Last na muna yun. Flerovium. Any idea? Flerovium. Okay, mukhang hindi ako naririnig. Wala akong nakikita ang sagot. It's actually, alright, it's FL. No? Kasama yan ni livermorium na L. So FL and LB. Alright? So yeah, alright. So let's proceed. Okay, that's correct. Fleroviums. Iyan natin. So, okay, yeah. So Al or aluminum, no, is an abundant metal. Okay, 8.1%. No? Though it's the most abundant metal in Earth's crust, aluminum's reactivity makes it costly, no, to extract. Though it's recyclable, 75% of aluminum ever made is still in use, and recycled cans can get back on shelves in as little as 60 days. So airplanes, aluminum is combined with other metals to make strong but light alloys used in airplane construction or airplane construction. All right. So it has an atomic number of 13 and atomic mass of 26.9. Okay. Next, what was the first inorganic compound synthesized in the laboratory resulting to boiling a solution of ammonium cyanide? A, urea. B, methane. C, sodium. D, ammonia. All right, I can see A's. Some are not unsure, but it's fine. All right. So first inorganic compound, no, repeated question to, paulit-ulit na tinatanong. Favorite din to, no. So part of your science majorship, that is urea. All right. What is urea for? No? Para saan ba ang urea? Basically, in our industrial world, saan natin ginagamit ang urea? All right. Saan ba ginagamit? Okay. Yes, it is used as fertilizer. Gumagamit ba kayo, no? So basically, ginagamit yan lalo ng ating mga farmers in the agricultural sector. These are commercial, no, fertilizers, no, which can actually boost growth, no, for and additional supplemental nutrients, no, sa ating mga crop. Okay? Yeah. So first organic compound that is synthesized in the lab is that of a urea, which was done by Friedrich Wöhler in 1828. Okay. So basically, it was Friedrich Wöhler who actually did synthesize that particular compound, okay, in a laboratory setting. During the primal planet Earth, what was formed when hydrogen combined with oxygen? Is it water? Is it urea? Is it methane? Is it ammonia? All right, I can see responses coming. Yes. All right. Okay, I can see one letter, and that is letter A. Okay. Correct. Sige. Okay, that's correct. So water, no? So water is actually the what found, no, during the primal planet Earth, no? This primal pertains to the early, no, or the young Earth, no, the Earth in its earliest years. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So next question. By the way, no, if we're going to compare, these are actually the prebiotic atmosphere. You could see that during the primal Earth or during the early Earth years, no, you can see that nitrogen still is abundant, as well as carbon dioxide. No, there's also water. No? There's also methane. Okay, ammonia, carbon monoxide, and the hydrogen molecule. No, weakly reducing atmosphere. What can you observe in the primal Earth as compared with the Earth's modern atmosphere? What was your observation? Or anything interesting in comparing these two pictures of the atmosphere during the primal Earth, and that comparing that of to the modern scenario? Yes, no, you can see, no, walang oxygen, no, sa prebiotic. So just in case matanong sa board exam ninyo, kung ano yung mga tawag dito, if there is really an oxygen during the prebiotic world or prebiotic Earth, wala. So this actually was believed to be, may mga ganong theory. It was believed to be coming from asteroid, kaya napunta sa Earth and eventually, no, started sprouting, no, on Earth. So basically now in the Earth's modern atmosphere after nitrogen, we do have oxygen as the second most abundant, and then we have argon. Okay? All right. Okay. Yan. So you can see here, oxidizing atmosphere, there are already presence of the biodiversity, the flora and the fauna. Okay, we still have the most abundant, of course, 78%, followed by your oxygen and argon, then some trace elements. Of course, water vapor is still a very crucial as a compound, no? And this is contributory to the Earth's weather patterns. Next, what is formed when carbon is combined with hydrogen? A, methane, B, ozone, C, alcohol, D, water. Okay? Okay, I can see a lot of A's. Okay, so that is correct. Okay, methane. So what is the chemical formula for methane? What's the chemical formula for methane? Yes, CH4. So the chemical formula for methane is CH4. So that is carbon combining with hydrogen. Okay, thank you so much. All right. Belonging to the functional groups of atoms which carry out characteristic chemical reaction is hydroxyl or blank. A, salt, B, gasoline, C, oil, D, alcohol. I can see these in the chat box. That's nice. All right. That's correct. No? So that is actually alcohol. Okay. So hydroxyl or the alcohol. Okay. Next question. In a period of a few weeks, what will you discover about the weight of the aquarium content during an experiment of aquatic plants, algae, snails, and fish inside the sealed aquarium? A, weight is heavier. B, weight is about the same. C, weight can change after the second week. D, weight loss after several weeks. I think we asked somewhat the same question, no, in our earlier review. All right, I can see a lot of these. Yes, that is correct. So weight is about the same. All right, so weight is about the same. And you know very well now the difference. Now I think we discussed already the difference between weight and the mass. Now, and weight has something to do with the pull of gravity, while mass has something to do with the composition, no, of a particular object. The matter, no, the matter, the amount of matter present, no, in an object. Okay. Since hydrogen is a reactive chemical element, okay, what will you combine it with in order to produce ammonia? Is it carbon, nitrogen, potassium, chlorine? You can see B's. All right. Okay. So Ammonia, of course, that is, yes. Letter B, nitrogen. What's the chemical formula for ammonia? What's the chemical formula? Yes, NH3. Okay. Is ammonia present in the primal earth atmosphere? Is ammonia present in the prebiotic earth? Yes, in the primal. Okay. All right. Okay, next question. Inorganic compounds that contain carbon atoms are mostly bland. A, chlorides, B, oxides, C, sulfates, D, minerals. Inorganic compounds that contain carbon atoms are mostly chlorides, oxides, sulfates, minerals. Okay. All right, I can see some uncertain answers. Okay. It's okay, no? We are navigating in an uncertain waters, no? As we are still battling with this pandemic. And the answer is, all right, the answer is, yes, you're right, minerals. So basically, these are inorganic compounds, no? Containing carbon atoms, okay? So these are minerals. Okay? So pag nakita niyo yan sa board, alam niyo yan, okay? Next, organic compounds, you know these very well, no? All organic compounds contain carbon atoms, but not all carbon-containing compounds are classified as organic, okay? Examples are sodium carbonate, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide are considered inorganic. So just in case lang, you will see some of these carbon-containing, and then the board exam will ask you if it's organic or inorganic. You know that these are inorganic. Okay, so organic compounds can be defined as covalently bonded compounds containing your carbon, excluding carbonates and oxides. Okay. All right. Among inorganic compounds, what is the universal solvent in which other substances are dissolved or can be dissolved? A, protein, B, fats, C, minerals, D, water. Okay. All right. I can see a lot of these. Of course, that's an obvious answer. That is water. All right. That is water. What is the freezing point of water? What is the freezing point of water again? Okay, I will not accept zero. Sabi ganun na. I will not accept zero unless there is a unit. What unit? If it's ano? Yeah, that's correct. It's 0 degrees Celsius. But if the board exam will ask you to answer it in Fahrenheit, what is the freezing point of water in terms of Fahrenheit? Mm-hmm. If it's 0 degrees Celsius, not a freezing point, this is if you're going to convert that into Fahrenheit, how much? Okay, that's correct. 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I remember that. You know, this is Majorship. Medyo level ng konti, no? Pag mga tanong. Pero mali nyo, madadali lang yung tanong for March kasi experimental. We're paying for that. That will be able to cover and at least for you to be able to, exert more effort to read more, no? About the coverage of your science majorship. So we are here. I'm here to reinforce some concepts and to open some some areas that I think you need to like you be curious about, and so you will be reading it more. All right. So kind of scaffolding on my part, and then you still have time no, until the 19th. Tama kayo, 19th kayo, diba? For your board exam. Okay. So yeah, so that's water. Next, yeah, identifying a substance of physical properties now can help chemists identify some properties of water, no, colorless, odorless liquid that boils at 100 degrees Celsius and melts at 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 degrees Celsius if it's in Fahrenheit, would likely be water. A colorless liquid that boiled at 78 degrees Celsius and melted at negative 117 degrees Celsius would definitely not be water. No? It would likely be ethanol. All right. So again, what is the pH level of pure water? Ano na ulit ang pH level ng pure water natin? That is pH 7. Pag yon ay na-adulterate, no, hindi na siya pH 7. Either pwedeng maging basic siya or maging acidic. No? So next question. These are the four main classes of organic compounds found in organisms, and one of these, the simple sugars, are blank. No? A, lipids, B, proteins, C, nucleic acid, D, carbohydrates. Macromolecule na naman to. Alright, so biochem. Okay. So yeah, no? So that is carbohydrates. Okay, so alam na natin. Okay. Now, these are some classification of these carbohydrates. These tawag dito monosaccharides, no? So we have different sugars, no? So we have here the aldose, okay, and the ketose, no? So for your aldose, you have glucose, no? It's actually an aldose, galactose as well, ribose, and glyceraldehyde. So basically, these are categorized, no, as aldose. While for ketose, no, some examples here are your fructose, no, your fruit sugar, okay, ribulose, and dihydroxy acid. Just in case you would meet them, no, whether they are asking you if it is classified under aldose or ketose, in terms of our sugar, at least we know. Okay. Next, of the following, identify which are the building blocks of proteins essential in the formation of new protoplasm for growth and repair of worn out cells. So, ayan. Okay. Is it minerals, fiber, amino acids, carbohydrates, of course, building blocks of proteins? Yun pa lang, alam na natin ang sagot. These are amino acids. Okay, so these are amino acids. Okay, okay. Sana ganyan lang kasi simple, no? These are actually board questions, no? Under biochemistry part. So at least you know how they are, how they craft questions, and how are we going to analyze them? Okay, so there. Okay, next question. How can you make wood useful as fuel? All right. A, burn it. B, decompose it. C, carve it. D, chop it. That's an easy one, right? Okay. Okay, sige. I can see A's here. So because you are using that as a fuel, no, we have to actually, yes, burn it. All right. No? So we burn it as a fuel. We use that as a fuel. No? So nowadays, that, gasol is skyrocketing in price. It is practical, no, to use firewood, no, to use our traditional way of cooking. However, syempre kapag nagmamadali tayo, kind of hassle, but in the provinces, no, this is the way we prepare our food. Ayan. Okay, so basically that's how we use, no, wood as a fuel. All right. Okay, next question. Sodium chloride or table salt is an example of which of the following? Is it a chemical compound, an element, a chemical formula, or radioactive isotope? Okay. Let me grab my alcohol. All right, I can see A. Okay. A lot of A's. Is that correct? Yes, it's a chemical compound. And what is the chemical formula? Okay, of sodium chloride. Okay, that is NaCl. That's your table salt. All right, so table salt. Okay, ayan. Next question. Ayan, so we have here the sodium atom, the chlorine atom here as well. Okay. Sodium ion, a cation, and of course, a chloride ion, an anion. So pag sinabi natin a cation, that is actually a positively charged ion, okay? or a positive tawag dito, a positive atom, and the anion is a negative atom. So ion is actually a charged, no, atom. So ions are actually charged atoms. Okay? All right. Submit. Ayan. So next, what pH or potential hydrogen level can you suggest so that your body fluids can become normal, thus avoiding fatality? A, above pH 8. Okay. B, above pH 7. C, pH 7. D, below pH 7. Okay, I can see these. C's with question marks. Okay, no worries. All right, so the answer is yes. Of course, we have to maintain it at pH 7. Pwedeng 7.50, 7 point, ano, basta we maintain it at 7 to avoid fatality. Okay? So to maintain homeostasis daw, the human body employs now many physiological adaptations, and one of these is maintaining the acid-base balance. So in the absence of pathological states, the pH of the human body ranges between 7.35 to 7.45, with the average at 7.40. We're going to round it off still at pH 7. Okay? So remember that just in case matanong siya. Okay? Next question. In chemical digestion, fat molecules are converted into blank. A, amino acids, B, enzymes, C, simple sugars, D, fatty acids and glycerol. In chemical digestion, fat molecules are converted into what? Yeah, okay. Okay, these we're trying, no, we're trying to answer it to test ourselves. And that's yes, that's correct. These can be converted into fatty acids and glycerol. All right. Yes. Okay. So that's correct. Letter D, fatty acids and glycerol. Okay. Which of the following scientists was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1911 for the discovery of the radioactive elements radium and polonium? A, John Dalton, B, Dmitry Mendeleev, C, Emil Fischer, D, Marie Curie. Okay. Okay, you can see a lot of these, no? Of course, no, the very famous, no, Marie Curie, no? She's very famous for her works, no, in radioactivity. Okay, so the discovery of radium and polonium are really is contributory, provided vast contributions in the study of chemistry. Okay, what is the chemical symbol for radium? What is the chemical symbol for radium? Okay, tama, di ba? Ra. While how about polonium? Yes, Ra. How about polonium? PO. That's correct. Okay? Mga ano lang 'yan, mga at least side ano natin, just to, to do mental exercise. Okay? So Marie Curie, no, Nobel, she was actually I think until now, no, the only woman with two Nobel prize, no. Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903, no, jointly with Pierre Curie and Henry Becquerel, Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1911. Okay, so both in physics and chemistry. No? About that. No? Hopefully kayo, no, if you will pursue later your masters, I hope you will do and be able, no, to contribute a lot to science education. We need more passionate teachers in science education. That's something that we have to do, no, especially now that we are at the era of false information and misinformation and malinformation. So we need more research-based and evidence-based teachers who will really advocate for equality science education. Okay, so good luck on your boards, and then later on the process after that, because it is really an arduous path for us kasi after that you need to satisfy the RQA for your ranking later. And if you wish to be part of the higher education, you are welcome in the higher education, provided you start doing your, getting your master's. Okay. So yeah. All right. So Marie Curie, let's be inspired by their work. So in 2021, we also have the Nobel Prize for Physics. So we have Shukura Manabe and Klaus Hasselmann for their work on the physical modeling of Earth's climate, quantifying variability, and reliably predicting global warming. So global warming is not a hoax. It is happening. And we will, they are reliably predicting more about it. No, their study actually focus on that. While Giorgio Parisi for the discovery of the interplay of disorder and fluctuations in physical systems from atomic to planetary scales. Kind of, novel and kind of, a nose bleeding. But, these contributions really meant a lot in the field of physics. If you're really into pure sciences. Kasi tayo, medyo nasa soft sciences tayo. Sa soft sciences tayo. Physics is a hard science. Okay? And of course, in 2021, we also have awardees, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. We have Benjamin List, no? Okay, and David Macmillan, no? For the development of asymmetric organocatalysis. Okay, so that is in chemistry. And along with that, of course, the Nobel Peace Prize for Maria Ressa, the CEO of Raptor. Okay, next. Name the person who developed a table of elements which revealed regularities in elemental properties in 1869. Alright? Sino? Of course, syempre, periodic table of elements, no? Hindi natin nakakalimutan dyan si Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev is also considered as the father of modern periodic table of elements. Just in case itanong siya sa majorship or even in Gen Ed Science, at least we know that it's Mendeleev. Ang kakontemporary ni Mendeleev, sino yung kakontemporary niya? Medyo nauna kasi nag-publish si Mendeleev, but yung kanyang contemporary, may inaaral niya rin, no? Yung sa periodic table of elements. In the person of, sino na nga yun? Si Henry, di ba? Si Henry Moseley. No? So Henry Moseley also worked with the development of periodic table, but of course the credit was really given to Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. Okay, Anton Laurent Lavoisier is in chemistry. He's considered the father of modern chemistry. Okay, all right. So this is how our periodic table in the modern times look like. No, so we were able to. Sorry, wait. Sorry, ayun na, wala na naman. Mag-admit lang tayo. We were able to actually complete na and name yung dating mga 3-letter element in the periodic table. 114 and element 114 and element 116 was actually named in 2012. Element number 113, 115, 117, and 118 were named in 2016. Renamed, renamed. Okay. Wait lang ha, medyo ang laki na nung ko. Chat box, hindi ko na nakikita saglit. Sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, ako magbibigay ka ng soft copy ng mga lecture. Yeah, I was actually asked by Sir DJ. So, kindly coordinate with your review directors. No? Finalist ko siya until tomorrow night. Lahat nung naka-compile. I will be compiling all the questions and I'll be providing copies to Sir DJ. Okay? And then eventually give it to Sir Alex. Okay? So, but also take note of the things that, cannot be found in our slides or even in the things that I'm actually, ang feedback sa akin, mas marami pa daw lumalabas sa mga side comments ko. So, apart from the actual questions, so that I'm actually presenting, please do take note then of some of my hanash, no? Baka lang. Okay? So there. Okay, what else? Ano ba ako? Ano sinasabi ko? Yeah. Modern periodic table of elements. So, yeah, later, sige, tingnan natin yung mga trends ng periodic table. Although, alam na natin yung ano nito, nung part nito, no? How do you call the horizontal part of your periodic table? How do you call it? Horizontal. Pag yan yung tanong, no? It's a very simple question, pero tinatanong yan. Pag horizontal, okay? Pag horizon, di ba, ganyan. No? So, horizon. So, that is period or letter S. What is S? Period or series. That's correct. Pag vertical, no? Vertical, these are, how do you call it? Group or family. So basic question to mga to, pwedeng sa Gen Ed Science or pwedeng sa Majorship. Okay, so yeah. And then of course we have different groupings. No, we have the red one here, the alkali metals, okay, and then alkaline earth metals here. Okay, we also have the metalloids in yellow. Okay, these borderline here, boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, and astatine as our metalloids, separating the metals to the non-metals. And of course, helium here until radon, okay, are actually our noble gases. We have also the boron group, the carbon group, the nitrogen group, the oxygen group, and the fluorine group. Question: how do you call, what is the other name for the oxygen group? It is also known as, ano? Ano nga ulit? Yung tawag sa grupo ni oxygen. Starts with letter C. That's correct. Yes. It's chalcogen. So baka lang din tanong siya ulit. So it's chalcogen. Chalcogen group. All right. Okay, so what else? Ayun, how many elements do we have in the periodic table? What's the number of the total elements in the periodic table? How many elements? Yes, no, 118 elements. That's correct. Okay, so next. All right, so we did mention these groups already. Alkaline earth, the alkaline metals, the lanthanide and actinide series, and the inner transition metals. Okay. Okay, so we have some atomic properties, no? Atomic size is based on atomic radius. That is one half the distance. Okay, between nuclei, no, of identical atoms. Something to do also with the atomic radius, no? The ionization energy, or the IE, is the energy required to remove the highest energy electron from one mole of gaseous atom. So that's why there is what we call trends also in periodic table, increasing and decreasing ionization energy. Electron affinity is the energy change accompanying the addition of one mole, all right, of electrons to one mole of gaseous atoms, while electronegativity is the relative ability of a bonded atom to attract electron-shared electrons. No? So these are some of the atomic properties. Okay, so if we're going to see the trends in periodic table, in terms of the atomic size, no, from top to bottom, atomic size actually is increasing. And then from right, no, from your right to left, no, atomic size is also increasing. So basically, nandirito yung mga, in terms of atomic radius or atomic size, yung pinakamalalaki. Then for ionization energy, electron affinity, electronegativity, all right? So from left to right, there is an increasing IE and electron affinity. And then from bottom to top, no, there is also an increasing ionization, electron, and electronegativity. All right, so that is some of the general trends now in periodic table. All right, next question: which of the given elements below has the largest atomic radius? So we have magnesium, fluorine, calcium, and chlorine. Okay, we have 4 here. Now, we are asked, no, of the largest atomic radius among these 4, or the largest atomic size. What's the answer? Okay, Okay, I can see A's here. Okay, sige. Let's reveal the answer. It's actually calcium, no? So basically, ayan. So kung titignan natin siya, 'di ba? Ano yung trend natin, no? So atomic size from top to bottom and then from right to left. So basically, we have here the calcium, we have here the magnesium, we have here the fluorine, and we have here the fluorine. So basically, calcium has the largest atomic size based on our trend. So electronegativity trend, ganun din. So if directions of increasing electronegativity, so fluorine here, no, is the most electronegative element, while the francium naman is the least electronegative element. Okay? Okay, next. How many electrons, no, can occupy an s orbital? Sorry, huli yung border ko. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Okay. So s orbital, no, this is something to do with your electronic configuration, right? Okay. So of course, s, alam na alam natin yan. 2 yan. How about p orbital? Ilan ang p orbital? How many electrons can occupy p orbital? Okay? Kung S is 2, that's correct. P orbital is 6, right? That's correct. How about D orbital? Ilan ang D orbital? That's correct. Thank you so much. All right. D orbital actually can occupy 10 electrons. That's correct. How about F orbital? Okay, that's correct. F orbital actually can hold 14 electrons. Okay, all right, so very nice. Yan, so we have s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, and the f orbital. Okay. So we have here the Pauli exclusion principle that actually says that no two electrons in an atom have the exact same quantum numbers. So they are actually anti-parallel. And the way we write it, no, we fill in first, no, then second. Unless there is, for example, P, no, wherein kunyari sa P natin, there are only 3 electrons to be occupied. Okay, so we have, for example, 3 squares here. Sige, mag-annotate ako ng anong kulay. How do we change the color? Yeah. For example, may ano ako, no, 3 boxes here for the p orbital. Okay. So for example, lalagyan natin siya ng tawag dito ng arrow. So how do we actually occupy electrons? So 1, kunyari tatlo lang, no? 2 and 3. Okay? Hindi pwede yung 1 tapos 2 sorry, 2 tapos 3, hindi pwede ganun. So we will occupy first, no, the top, and then bottom, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So bakit ito mali? Kasi hindi pala pwede siya mabilog ito. So kaya siya mali kasi nakataas niya ng pareho. Kailangan anti-parallel. It's the same here. Okay? So yan, tama ba? Okay, so hindi ako marunong mag-annotate, bilog. Parang gano'n. Okay, so there. Okay, clear natin. Sige, next. What is the common name for calcium oxide? CaO. A, lime. B, baking soda. C, carbonated water. D, dry ice. Okay. Can see some responses. Okay. All right. Sige lang, no worries. Sige. Okay. Sige. Actually, no, calcium oxide or CaO is lime. Okay, tatandaan, no, baka lumabas to. It's actually lime. So, how about the chemical name for baking soda? That is correct. Sodium bicarbonate. So, sodium bicarbonate is a baking soda. How about dry ice? What is the chemical name for dry ice? Mhm. By the way, is dry ice a compound? Is dry yes or no? Sige nga. Is dry ice a compound? An element? Okay. Yes. Okay. Who says yes? Okay. Dry ice is a compound. All right. Yes, it is a compound because dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide. That's correct. Yes. So it's a frozen carbon dioxide. Okay, tatanda. So therefore, carbon dioxide is a compound. Okay. So next question. So these are some of the common substances and their chemical name. Okay. So we have, for example, the hydrogen peroxide. No? Yes. By the way, dry ice or frozen carbon dioxide exhibit sublimation. Okay. It exhibits sublimation from solid to gas. Okay. So yeah. So next, ethanol, drinking alcohol, methanol, wood alcohol, methane, your natural gas, ozone, O3, sucrose, your table sugar. Okay, kung may naririnig ako. Potassium chloride, potash, then sodium hydroxide, lye, no, or caustic soda. Okay, so that's your ano din, caustic soda na sinasabi. And then calcium oxide, that is your lime. All right? So these are some common, baka lang din lumabas. Okay? Next. All of the following contain C, H, and N atoms, except A, purine, B, pyrimidine, C, amino acid, D, sucrose. Okay. All right, I can see these. Okay. Sucrose. All right. So basically, the answer there is sucrose. So basically, ang sucrose has C, H, and O. Now, the rest, C, H, N, no, purine, pyrimidine, and amino acid. Okay? Okay, next. Ayan, sucrose contains HC and O atoms only. The rest contains the nitrogen atoms. Okay? An organic compound was isolated and was found to be soluble in hexane and insoluble in ethanol and acetone. What best describes the isolated compound? A. The compound contains alcohol group. B. The compound contains long-chain alkyl group. Letter C. The compound contains double bond in its structure. Letter D. The compound contains carboxylic group in its structure. So there was found not to be soluble in hexane, an organic compound. However, it is insoluble in ethanol and acetone. What best describes the isolated compound? Okay, I can see some direct messages, some answers in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Soluble siya sa hexane, insoluble in ethanol and acetone. Most likely, this compound contains what? It contains. All right. Sige. Okay, let's reveal the answer. It contains long chain alkyl group. Okay, so if you see, for example, that it's soluble in hexane but insoluble in ethanol and acetone, that is a compound containing long chain alkyl group. All right, okay. So the long alkyl group actually exhibits non-polar character, and non-polar compounds are soluble in the non-polar solvents like hexane. However, not in the previous substances. Okay, let's admit. All right. Next. Okay. What is the product when amino acids are joined together forming peptides? A, ammonia. B, water. C, carbon dioxide. Or letter D, adenosine triphosphate. What is the product when amino acids are joined together forming peptides? Okay. I can see D and B. All right, the answer is, okay, ano ba talaga? It's B. All right, so it's water. So the product, no, when amino acids are joined together forming peptides, that is actually water. Okay, so when the amino acid, no, join together, their T-terminal releases OH group that abstracts the H atom or the hydrogen atom from the N-terminal, which then form the water. Okay? So pag nakita niyo yung question na to, no, it's actually water. The product that actually which will be formed. Okay? So sa board exam, pag yung first instinct nyo at feeling nyo, sure naman kayo, trust your instinct. No? So sometimes kasi we tend to overthink, no? Also example, medyo mahirap yung tanong, tas may first instinct ka, and then, so you have to trust, no? Unless, alam na alam mo talaga at talagang kailangan mong burahin, no? Ako, in my opinion, you can, no, erase, no? Nagsisisi yung estudyante ko last October kasi she knows that parang she has like 5 items na mali siya, pero she was able to, ano na kasi, to shade the letter, and parang ang rule niya sa sarili niya, parang, I don't wanna erase, parang ganon. Ayun, 91 siya lang. Ang average siya 91, eh 92.40 ang top 10. So medyo nagsisisi. So, a matter of points really matters, no? Kasi hindi natin alam gaano kataas yung top 10 if you're aiming for the top, no? So hopefully you are aiming, no? Yes. Yes, during dehydration synthesis po ba, sir? Yes, no? So nagkakaroon din, yeah, actually, no, during dehydration. Okay? Next. Diamond and graphite are two substances of industrial importance. Diamond is used for cutting, shaping, and sharpening, okay, of tools, glass, and metal parts. Graphite is an excellent dry lubricant. The two substances have at least one in common. And which of the following is that commonality? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so I can see C's here. Both are very hard. Both are black in color. Both are made of carbon. Both conduct electricity. And of course, that's correct. You're all correct. Both are made of carbon. So basically, the diamond, okay. Ala, okay. Yeah, actually, yes. I mentioned it last night. Uh, all the recordings will be emailed to Sir DJ, and then Sir DJ will be sharing, no, the recordings, no. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the compliment. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be sharing it. I'm just finalizing it kasi medyo malalaki yung files, pero I'll be uploading it to Google Drive and I'll be sending it via. All right? So yeah, fighting teachers, fighting science teachers. Hopefully I can see your name among the top matches for the March 2023. Please let me know. All right? Please let me know. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Sige, let's proceed. So diamond and graphite are the two popular allotrophic forms of carbon, and both have carbon atoms. So that's their commonality. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So why are cooking utensils such as saucepans, spoons, and others often made of aluminum? Is it A, aluminum conducts heat efficiently? B, aluminum is a very light metal? C, aluminum does not corrode readily? D, all of the given statements are correct. Mm-hmm. All right, I can see these here. B, D, D, all right. Okay, so what's the answer? Yes, no? That's correct. All of these are actually true about aluminum. It conducts heat efficiently, powerful, all of the above. Yeah, I agree. Very light metal, does not corrode readily. All right, so if you think that these are, tawag dito, covering all, no? And that will get all of the above. Okay, next. Which among the following physical properties given below distinctly differentiates organic compound from inorganic compound? We have melting and boiling point, solubility in water, physical state of the substance, and optical activity. All right. So is it A, 1 and 4, B, 3 and 4, C, 2 and 4, or letter D, 1 and 3? Okay. All right. So I can see D's here. I can see another D, another D. Okay. So some probably are still thinking or probably still pondering the differentiation between organic and inorganic compound based on these characteristics. All right, so the answer is okay. Okay, that's correct. Is that correct? Okay, is that correct? Actually, it's letter A. No, it's actually the melting and boiling point as well as their optical activity. Okay, so these two differentiate organic compound from inorganic compounds. Remember that, no, the melting and boiling point from and their optical activity. Remember, inorganic compounds have unusual high melting points, and optical activity is a special property exhibited by organic compounds. So therefore, the melting or boiling point and their optical activity. Okay, so that differentiates. Okay. Okay, next question. Calcium propanoate, or yeah, see, yeah, that's the formula, is a mold inhibitor used in food, tobacco, and pharmaceuticals. What is the resulting solution when dissolved in water? Is it basic? Is it neutral? Is it acidic? Is it insoluble? Calcium propanoate is a mold inhibitor. What is the resulting solution? Okay lang. It's nice. It's okay. No worries. Wild guess. Okay, sige lang. Okay. Okay. So I guess we have a different a variation of answers here. I can see C, A, B. All right. So what is the answer? Okay. So when actually dissolved in water, this particular solution is basic. Okay? So tatandaan, it's basic. No? Calcium propanoate is letter A. It is basic. No? So in the pH level, what is the pH number for basic substances? Is it above or below 7? For basic, that is above or below. Just to review our pH level. It's actually above 7, right? So that is your basic. Other term for basic, tinatawag din siya basic or alkaline. So kaya siya basicity or alkalinity. Okay? Pag below, of course, that is your acidity. Okay? Sabihin nyo nga sa akin, if it's an acid or a base, the blue litmus paper becomes red. Is it an acid or a base? Blue becomes red? Yes, it's an acid. Okay, red litmus paper becomes blue. That is okay, that is basic. All right, so yeah, I understand your eagerness to type, so okay lang. Okay, so what else? Basic and okay, how do you call then the litmus paper that we use in identifying whether it's a basic or a an acid? The litmus paper is actually an example of letter I. That's correct. It's an example of indicator. Yes, correct. Okay, so next question. So there, calcium propanoate is a salt derived from a strong base and a weak acid. And so it results to a basic solution. Okay? Yes, a litmus paper is an indicator. That is correct. Okay? So these are some of the common acids now that you might encounter. No? So we have acetic acid, they're responsible for the sour vinegar for cooking purposes. That's why we call it also like, okay, can you pass to me the bottle of acetic acid or the vinegar? No? Boric acid, component of eye drops and metal suppositories and mild antiseptic. We also have citric acid, responsible for the sour taste of our lemons, limes, grapefruits, and oranges. Kaya nga we call them citrus, diba? Citrus fruits, yes. Hydrochloric acid, component of muriatic acid, responsible for stomach's acidity. And that's why if you have, for example, experiencing acid reflux, maybe it's too acidic in your stomach. And for cleaning purposes as well, if we use it in our household, no? Formic acid causes the sting, red ant bites. Okay. Okay, while lactic acid gives sour milk, no? Its sharp taste. So lactose is something to do, referring to milk, lactobacillus, no? Like in the Lactobacillus casei of Yakult, lactose, no? Ano pa? Tawag dito, lactic acid nga, no? Yun nga. So for sour milk, okay? Okay. Okay, next. Sometimes hindi ko napipindot yung ano. Hindi ko mapindot. Sige, mamaya. Okay, next. We also have oxalic acid, no? Good rust and stain remover and used in various commercial cleaning preparation. We have also phosphoric acid, H3PO4, no? Manufacture fertilizers, detergents, food additives, especially in soft drinks. And then we also have salicylic, yes. Salicylic acid, okay? Propionic acid, no, its characteristic odor contributing to the cheese flavor. Salts of this acid used to retard the growth of molds and help restore freshness of baked goods. And your sulfuric acid, responsible for the corrosiveness of acid rain, for the manufacture fertilizer, explosive dyes, and paper. Okay. Okay, next question. Let me. Yan. Which of the following statements are true about forces? Is it one, forces are vector quantities? Number two, forces are present only when objects interact. Three, forces cause an object to change its state of motion. Is it A, 1 and 2, B, 1 and 3, C, 2 and 3, D, 1, 2 and 3? Okay. Which is or are true about forces? Okay. Okay, I can see B here, 1 and 3. Okay. All right, so what's the answer? The correct answer is actually 1, 2, and 3. Ayan. So these are actually true, no, about forces, no? Forces are vector quantities. Forces are present only when objects interact. And forces cause an object to change its state of motion. Okay? Wait lang. Okay? So, yeah, no, all those statements are true, no? Forces, no, have magnitude and direction. Thus, forces are vector quantities. Remember, no, vector and scalar quantity. So, vector and scalar, no, they both have. Okay, vector and scalar both have what? Magnitude, no? While vector has what? That's correct. Vector has direction. Okay, there you go. All right, so vector has direction. Okay, plus magnitude. Yes, of course. Magnitude plus direction. No? Kaya nga, lagi kong sinasabi, no, I am only scalar. Ay, ako sana hindi mamatay ang ilaw. I'm only scalar, no, until you came. and gave me direction. So basically, who are your vectors in life? And hopefully that vector really, no, gives you, no, the right direction. Am I still clear? It says here that my internet is unstable. Can you still hear me? Can you type 1? If yes, please sana hindi mawala ang kuryente. Oh, the cat nga, parang ano nga, sana walang multo dito, sabay. Alright, so yes. Okay, so there, no, all the statements are true, no, forces of magnitude and direction. Thus, forces are vector quantities, no. Forces arise only when there is interaction between two or more bodies, and forces can cause an object to change, no, its state of. Okay. So next question. Okay, seat belts are used to protect passengers in automobiles from injuries that may be caused by the sudden changes in the motion of the automobile. Which of the following laws of motion best explains the use of seat belts? Yes, no? So of course, this is a very basic question. Sana, no, ganyan lang mga tanong, no? Sa inyong majorship. Kaya, actually, medyo, sabi ko nga last October, parang, parang, kasi I was checking the average. So parang, napakatataas ng average nung, kasi talagang nagsisisi ako, hindi ako nakapagpa-top notcher. Pero, hopefully in your batch, no, so let's claim it, no, and let me know, no, sana science major ang magta-top, no, for March. Okay? So there, so sorry wrong time, okay. So the answer is, syempre, law of inertia. Okay, so law of inertia, no, it's actually your resistance in the change of motion. You tend to resist when there is a change of motion, and so kailangan mag-seatbelt tayo as a protection because a sudden change will can actually, for example, you might be bumped in front or depende kung in case there is really a sudden change in motion. So law of inertia therefore is the best law that encapsulates that situation. Okay? By the way, how do we call the seatbelt in Filipino? Paano nga ba sinasabi doon? Ito ang kailangan magsuot tayo ng anong tinatawag natin ang seatbelt in Filipino? They actually use this in airplane, in flights. In PAL or in Cebu Pacific, they call it sinturong pangkaligtasan. I don't know if you've heard of that. But yeah, they're very strict, no, about the seatbelts. Okay? Next question, no? A bow is drawn so that it has 50 joules of potential energy. Assuming that there is no air resistance, the bow will ideally have kinetic energy of blank when fired. A, 0 joule, B, less than 50 joules, C, 50 joules, D, more than 50 joules. Okay. All right. So na-drawn, no? So it has 50 potential energy, no? Assuming that there's no air resistance, the bow will ideally have a kinetic energy of blank, no? When fired or when released. And so the answer here is still 50 joules. Okay? So remember that. Still 50 joules, no? Assuming, no, that there is no air resistance. So the answer is letter C. Now, most of you got it. Okay? Yeah. Next. Ayan, no? Based on law of conservation of energy, the energy in an isolated system is constant. No? So energy is not lost, but is simply transformed from one form to another. The same is true with the situation from potential to kinetic energy. So when the bow is fired, all of its potential energy is transformed into kinetic energy. Kaya nga, yung term na, let's conserve energy, tapos syempre science major ka, sasabihin mo, oh no, energy is always conserved. Parang it is not lost. No? So, although syempre, ang konteksto ng pagko-conserve ng energy is for us to be able to at least, ano ba yun? Yes, that's correct. No? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. No? Pero yung sinasabi sa atin ng mga parents natin, you conserve energy kasi ang mahal ng yun yung konteksto. But in the reality, energy is always conserved. Kaya nga, in the energy transfer, the law of energy transfer, 10%, saan napupunta yung 90%? Heat loss, saan mapupunta yon? In the environment. Hindi yan mawawala at hindi yan masasayang. No? The same is true, for example, if you have a compound and gusto mo siyang, for example, i-separate yung dalawang elements, for example, present in the particular compound by, for example, burning it, if you can all collect the smoke, the ashes, and so, ano pa rin, ano dito, mai-equate pa rin. No? So may mga ano nga lang, may mga tawag dito, may mga formation nga lang from one phase to another. Okay? So next question. Okay. Two forces, no, of magnitude, no, 20 newtons and 30 newtons are acting on a 30-kilogram object that is lying on a frictionless surface. So what is the acceleration of the object when the two forces are directed in the same direction? Is it 0.3 meters per second squared? B, 1.67 meter per second squared? C, 0.6 meter per second squared? Or letter D, 3.0 meter per second squared? Okay, what's your answer? Yes. Okay, I can see responses. All right, so basically, dahil there are two forces, so we can actually add them, no? 20 newtons plus 30 newtons. So we have 50 newtons, and then we will get 1.67 meters per second. Okay, so how did we do that? We just add and then divide it by 30 kilogram. Okay, so you have 1.67 meters per second square. So since there are two forces, that's correct, no? Acting on the object, we need to determine, no, the net force, no, before calculating the acceleration of the object. The two forces are acting the same direction, so the net force 50. Using the Newton's second law of motion, we can compute, no, the net force over the mass. Okay, so we have the net force of 50 newtons over 30 kilogram, and that will give us 1.6666 or 1.67 meters per second. Okay? Okay, next. Wait lang. All right, next question. The power rating of machines indicates which of the following? The amount, A, the amount of power dissipated per unit time. B, the amount of energy consumed per unit time. Letter C, the total amount of work done by the machine. Or letter D, the amount of fuel required to make the machine function. Okay. All right, I can see C's and B's. Okay. Hindi ko may mas ko, pero wala naman ako. Okay, so the answer here is yes. Ay, wait. Wait lang. Yan. So the power rating, wait lang, the power rating of machine, parang mali ako na dito. Saglit ha. The power rating of machine indicates which of the following? The amount of energy consumed per unit time. No, actually, it's letter C. Saglit. Mali ako ng tawag dito ng line. Ay ng correct ko lang. It's actually letter C. Okay? The total amount. No? Okay. Namali ako ng yan. All right. So let me reshare my slide. So actually, it's letter C, no? The amount, the total amount of work, no, done by the machine. So this actually pertains to the power rating of machines and as an indicator. Okay, so that is letter C. Okay. Okay, next. Ayan. So power is the rate, no, of doing work, since the work done on an object is just equivalent, no, to the energy transferred on the object according to the work energy theorem, power can also be defined as the amount, no, of energy expended or consumed by a system per unit time. Ay, wait lang. Tama pala, letter B. Sorry, na-confuse ako. It's actually letter B. So tama ako. Okay. Tama pala ang ano. Akala ko lang na mali ako. Sorry for that. Okay. Ayan, meron nga pala akong justification. Alright, so yeah. Okay, so that's letter B. So yeah. Okay. Next, using 100, wait, admit lang ako. Using 1,000 joules of work, a toy elevator is raised from the ground floor to the second floor in 20 seconds. How much power does the elevator use? A, 20 watts, B, 100 watts, C, 50 watts, or letter D, 1,000 watts. So there is 1,000 joules of work. There's a toy elevator raised from the ground floor to the second floor in 20 seconds. So we're actually will need to compute for the power of the elevator. Okay? So ilan? This is just a simple simple formula lang. Okay, so yes, okay, a lot of you got it right. That's correct. 50 watts. So we'll be able to compute that, no, by the formula power work done over time. That's correct. So the work done is actually 50 joule per second. Sorry, 1,000 joules per 20 seconds. And so we have 50 joule per second or 50 watts. So that's just the same. So 50 joules per second or 50 watts, that is our answer. Okay? So power is work over time. Okay, so naulit ang tanong ko. Okay, next question. Which can help prevent fire by blocking the path of electricity? A, switch, B, capacitor, C, resistor, D, fuse. Okay, I can see B, C, D, all right. B, okay, maybe na. Okay, may C ulit. So actually it's what? It's the, yes, it should be your fuse. All right, so fuse can help prevent fire by blocking the path of electricity. So tatandaan niyo. Okay, it's actually the fuse which is responsible. Okay, next question. Which among the following illustrates the occurrence of lightning? Okay. A, charging by polarization. B, charging by induction. C, charging by friction. D, charging by contact. May C's, may A, may B. All right, yeah. All right, so the occurrence of lightning is actually charging by, all right, the answer is letter B. It's actually charging by induction. I remember that. Which of the following illustrate the currents of lightning is actually charging by induction? So basically, lightning transfer electrons from the atmosphere to Earth, and electrons build up, okay, build up in clouds because wind causes them to rub together, charging by friction. However, the negative charges in the clouds push the negative charges in the ground away, leaving the positive charges on the surface through charging by induction. So once enough negative charge builds up in a cloud, it repels so strongly, second law of electric charges, that it jumps through the air as an insulator and strikes the positively charged ground or the nearest object, corresponding to the first law of electrical charges. Okay, so wait lang, may chat ba tayo? Electric potential. What do you mean by I mean, in what context? Parang hindi ko siya, but this one is actually charging by induction. Okay? Sige, sige lang, chat nyo lang ha, or you can unmute ha if ever. Okay? So next, which of among the following is a fundamental quantity? This is a basics physics. Is it electric current, momentum, energy, velocity? Remember, you have fundamental and derived quantities. Okay? Which is which? Okay. All right. All right. So basically, pag sinabing fundamental quantity, no, we have actually 7 fundamental quantity, no? And one of these fundamental quantity is electric current. Okay? The amount of electric current. Question, what is the basic unit of electric current? What is the basic unit of electric current? Starts with letter A. That's correct. It's ampere. So ampere is actually the basic unit for electric current. Momentum, energy, velocity are actually derived quantities. Okay, fundamental quantity ang electric current, momentum, energy, and velocity are derived quantities. Okay, so electric current is one of the 7 fundamental quantities, as I mentioned, which can be readily determined by an instrument known as an ammeter or multitester. So just in case you will be asked, no, how will you be able to determine that? That is through ammeter or multitester. Okay. So energy is one of the derived quantities. The quantity needs the concept of mass, the height, and acceleration combined to be able to arrive at potential energy. Furthermore, there exists no single instrument that could determine the amount of energy of a substance or a body. Okay? While momentum is usually described as the product of mass and velocity and is therefore considered as the combination of several fundamental quantities. Okay? While velocity can be determined by dividing the distance covered by a body by the time elapsed, thus is classified as a derived quantity. What is the corresponding quantity of velocity in terms of tawag dito, in terms of scalar? If velocity is to vector, blank is to scalar. That is, nasa ng chat box. Ayan, I can see, yes. That is actually speed. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so these are the 7 actually of fundamental quantities. So we have the mass, the length, the time, all right, the temperature, electric current, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. If you're going to, for example, the board will ask you about the basic unit of mass, that's kilogram, basic unit of length, that's meter, basic unit of time, second, basic unit of temperature, Kelvin. Okay, it's Kelvin, all right? Electric current is ampere. Amount of substance is mole, no? We encounter this, no, in chemistry. Then luminous intensity is candela. Okay? So in luminous intensity, that is candela. Okay? So I think these are all familiar. So siguro not so familiar lang yung electric current and luminous intensity and amount of substance, but these are fundamentally used. No? We've been using this for every day. Okay? Next, okay, which statement, no, is true about a positively charged object? A, it contains more electrons than protons. B, it contains more protons than electrons. C, it contains equal number of protons and electrons. Or letter D, it contains more positively charged molecules than negatively charged ones. Okay. All right. I can see D, B, D. All right. All right. Yes. No. It actually contains more protons than electrons. So remember, positively charged object. So pag positively charged, pag neutral, pag atom, uncharged siya, no charge atom, we have the same number of proton and electron. Remember that, diba? But if, for example, positively charged ang object, then there should be more protons than electrons. Remember that the atomic number is equivalent in a neutral atom is equivalent to proton and to the electron. Say, for example, we have carbon. And for example, the atomic number of carbon is 6. So therefore, ilan ang kanyang proton? Okay, the proton is also 6. That's correct. How many electrons? Also 6. Okay? Yes. If, for example, the atomic mass is indicated that the atomic mass of carbon is 12, okay? How many number of protons does carbon have? Neutrons, I mean. How many neutrons does carbon have? So we're going to subtract, atomic mass minus atomic number. So the atomic mass is 12 minus atomic number. So we will determine the neutron. So therefore, that is 12 minus 6 is 6. Okay? So that's it. All right. So that is letter B. It contains more protons than electrons. And when we say protons, these are actually positively charged subatomic particle, while the electrons are the negatively charged subatomic particle. Okay, so containing more protons would dictate that it is a positively charged object. Okay, so an object having more proton is positively charged, since the proton itself has positive charge, and the magnitude of the charge of a proton is equal to that of the electron. Okay. So next question, when resistors are connected in parallel, okay, when resistors are connected in parallel, blank. A, the voltage across each resistor is the same. B, the current flowing through each resistor is the same. 2, both the current through and the voltage across each resistor are equal. Or letter D, neither of the current through nor the voltage across each resistor is the same. So, kind of lengthy. Alright, sige lang. So when resistors are connected in parallel now, what will be tawag dito, what is true? Okay, I can see some direct messages and some responses in the chat box. Okay. Alright, sige lang. Okay, so ano to, no? So this is actually when resistors are connected in parallel. Okay, the voltage across each resistor is the same. Okay, tatandaan na, when resistors are connected in parallel, the voltage across each resistor is the same. Okay, so basically when resistance or any electrical device are connected in parallel, these circuit elements receive the same voltage. So this is a characteristics of parallel connection. Letter B is true if and only if the resistors have equal resistances. But the question, did not state, if there is an equal resistances. But this will be true sana. This can be a good option, but then there is no mention of equality. Okay. Next. Which of the following statement is not true about radio waves? Okay. A, radio waves may be considered as low frequency light waves. B, radio waves are electromagnetic waves. C, radio waves are transverse waves. Or letter D, radio waves are sound waves. Okay, I can see a lot of these, no? Not true about radio waves. Yes, okay, that's correct. Radio waves are sound waves, okay? So this is actually not true about the radio waves. But radio waves may be considered as low frequency light waves, or radio or electric EM waves, and radio waves are actually transverse. Okay? Yeah. Radio waves are not sound waves. Radio waves are low frequency electromagnetic wave. Ay, true pala. Okay lang yan. Okay? So, yeah. No? So, they are low frequency EM. Okay? All right. During daytime, land is hotter than the sea. This inverts during nighttime. Sea is hotter than the land. What does this illustrate? A, land has higher specific heat capacity than water. B, sea has higher specific heat capacity than land. C, land receives more energy from the sun than the sea during daytime. Or letter D, sea receives more energy from the sun than the sea during daytime. I can see B, okay, A, all right. Sige. So, of course, no, if you encounter this question, what does this illustrate? No. Yes, that's correct. C has higher specific heat capacity than the land. Okay, you are correct. No? So, it has higher specific heat capacity. So, during nighttime, C is hotter than the land. So C has higher specific heat capacity, and during daytime it requires more heat than the land to increase its temperature by a given amount. So during nighttime it needs to release more heat than land to decrease its temperature by a given amount. So we say that it has greater thermal inertia. So we point it out as a greater thermal inertia. Okay. Okay, next question. All right. How can heat can be transferred through conduction, convection, or radiation? When you place your finger at the side of a flame of a burning candle, the warmth that you feel is primarily caused by which mechanism of heat transfer? Okay, is it conduction? Is it radiation? Is it convection? Natutuwa ako sa mga sagot niya. Is it convection or is it transpiration? Okay. Alright. Sige, I can see A, B, and C, ah. Alright. So, ini-imagine ko na siya. Ini-imagine ko kung conduction siya, no? Alright. Okay. Alright. Sige. Alright. So, di ba, there's a, side of a flame, no, of a burning candle lang. So, the warmth, there's a warmth that you feel. So, that basically, is an indication that primarily, that particular is through radiation. Yeah. Okay. Through radiation. Okay. So basically, it's the warmth that we feel around. So that is through radiation. That's why, di ba, merong mga tawag dito, tawag dito, in areas where there is winter, kailangan laging may fireplace or tinatawag na bastion. So the radiation coming from that particular firewood will actually help, at least ease to comfort us to comfort them, during mga winter season. So that is radiation. Paano naman kapag, for example, you actually you are boiling, for example, an egg in a pan? Okay, is it conduction, radiation, or convection? You boil an egg in a pan. So that is convection. Okay. Yes, the molecules in the boiling water is convection. Okay? And kapag naman hinawakan mo mismo ang takip ng kaldero, yan na yung tinatawag na conduction. There is a direct direct contact with the object. Okay? Yes, that's the term. Okay, next. Okay, when placed under the sun, a black pot of water will warm first, then the white pot because it is a good absorber of radiation. Suppose the two pots were filled with boiling water, which pot will cool first? A, black pot because it is a poor emitter of radiation. B, white pot because it is a good emitter of radiation. C, black pot because it will radiate energy at a greater rate. D, white pot because it will radiate energy at a greater rate. Mhm. Okay. Okay, I can see B's here. Can see B also. Okay, actually, no. Uh, the two pots were filled with boiling water. Which pot will actually cool first? It's actually the letter C, no? So black pot because it will radiate energy at a greater rate. So basically, si black pot yung cool, no? Yung pot na mag-cool na una because it radiates energy at a greater rate. Okay? So remember that, okay? Next, three objects, no, cotton, wood, and metal, are kept outside the room for a long time until all of them have the same temperature. Which object feels coldest when you touch it? Is it cotton? Is it wood? Is it metal? Or they all feel equally cold? Okay. All right. I can see different answers. It's okay. So it's actually the metal. Remember, metal is a good conductor of heat, diba? So basically, when you touch it, this is actually the coldest. So this is the object that you feel the coldest. All right. So that is letter C. Okay. Next question. Evaporation is the process of converting liquid into gas. What can be done to increase the rate of evaporation of a liquid? A, decrease the surface area. B, add more heat to the boiling liquid. C, increase the temperature. D, increase the pressure on the surface. Mhm. I can see AC, all right, C, some uncertain C, some sure C, okay, some B's, all right, some C's, okay. So if you want to increase no the rate of evaporation no of liquid, we will actually okay add no more heat actually no to the boiling liquid. So we're going to add more heat to the boiling liquid, and so the liquid will actually be evaporated faster. Okay, or to increase no the rate of evaporation. Okay, so that is letter. Okay, so yes. Okay, so kind of tricky no. So it's in the boiling liquid no. So for the evaporation. Okay, next. Anong pinagkaiba yung B and C? Eto very ano siya, specific siya that it's the boiling liquid, no? That you have to add more heat. Okay? While increase the temperature, what can be done to increase the rate of evaporation of increase the temperature is kind of not so specific, kind of vague. But if you want really to increase no the rate of the evaporation of the liquid, then it's the boiling liquid that will add more heat. Okay? Pwede kasing increase the temperature in other material. Okay? So I uh choose the best answer here. So that is letter B. Okay? I hope that is clear. Yes? Okay. Thank you. All right. Next, who is the Greek philosopher who viewed that matter is made up of tiny indivisible particles called atoms. Okay. All right. Yes. Dalton, Thales, Socrates, Democritus. Of course, this is very familiar to all of us. That is Democritus, no? The indivisible particle called atoms. Okay? And of course, along the way, no, we have encountered no several individualities, several authorities. In the timeline of the atomic model, we have the atoms no of Democritus, the billiard ball of John Dalton, the plum pudding model of J.J. Thomson or Joseph John Thomson, the planetary model of Rutherford, and the Bohr model of Niels Bohr. So basically, these are some no of the development no of the atomic model. Okay, so if you can see here further, no, yeah, Dalton just visualized it just a billiard ball, but Thomson in 1904 said na it should be like uh, a plum pudding where there is positive and there are positive and negative charges. And so he illustrated it like, like raisins. No? May mga raisins. The raisin one is on the negative and then positive one. And totoo naman, there are positive and negative charge. Then Rutherford no, was able to identify that there should be a nucleus in the atom. Okay, Bohr in 1913 mentioned that there must be energy levels where these electrons are actually orbiting. Okay. Then Schrödinger in 1926 no visualized the electron cloud model. Okay. So that really contributes to our understanding of the atom. Okay, so yeah, we mentioned that, no? John Dalton, Thomson for the discovery of electrons as well using the cathode rays, no? Robert Millikan, discovery of the negative charge on electrons, okay? Ernest Rutherford, the discovery of the nucleus, no? Lots of open space in an atom, he mentioned. And the Niels Bohr electrons orbit the nucleus in different shells. That's why Niels Bohr introduced the energy level, okay? And comes the modern atomic theory, okay? So the discovery of quarks also no lead to better understanding of the atoms. And so protons and neutrons no in the nucleus actually contains no quarks. Now, these actually make up your protons and neutrons, which in turn make up the atom's nucleus. So each proton and each neutron contains 3 quarks, no? A quark is a fast moving point of energy, no? That make up the protons, the positively charged, and the neutrons, the neutral charge. Okay. Okay. So next question, which of the following is not true about the nature of the subatomic particles in an atom? A, electrons spin around the nucleus. B, the nuclear charge of the nucleus holds the electron. C, the number of neutron depends on the number of proton. Letter D, protons and neutrons are non-fundamental subatomic particles. Okay. I can see B and D and D. All right. And B and D and C. All right. So not true. So which is not true kaya about the nature of subatomic particles? Well, electrons spin around the nucleus. Yes. Yeah. So electrons can be found outside the nucleus because the nucleus, it is where the protons and neutrons reside. Diba? How do we call again the, what is the term, the collective term for the proton and the neutron? Ano nang ang tawag natin when we tawag dito, identify them as one? We call it the, well, it's in the nucleus. No? How do we call the proton and the neutron? Ano na nga ba yung term natin doon? We call them as, tama ba? Neutral state. Sige nga. Ano pa? May collective term tayo sa kanilang dalawa, di ba? Starts with letter N of. Tama ba ang iniisip? Neutron and proton. Yes, ayun, nakita ko na yung sagot. Tama, no? So we call them as the nucleon. Tama, di ba? The proton and the neutron inside the nucleus. Okay? So, okay na tayo si A. B, the nuclear charge of the nucleus holds, no, the electron. Now, that's the very reason why electrons can be able to orbit around, no, the nucleus. So, okay tayo dyan. The number of neutron depends on the number of protons. So, kung nakadepende kaya talaga yan sa number of protons. So, let's hang that. Protons and neutrons are non-fundamental subatomic particles. So, in the recent discovery of quarks, no, due to the recent discovery of quarks, no, protons and neutrons now are now considered as non-fundamental subatomic particles. And so, the right answer here is letter C. The number of neutron depends on the number of neutron depends on the number of proton. Actually, it's not, no? It's not. So remember that the atomic mass, okay, the atomic number of a certain element corresponds to the number of proton and to the number of electron. Yeah, that's correct. Yes. Yeah. Okay? So basically, si neutron will comes, no, sa atomic mass minus atomic number. Okay? So, is there an instance, for example, like carbon as an atomic number is 12, and then minsan meron siyang carbon 13, then minsan may carbon 14. Is it possible that an atomic mass of a certain element differs? Yes, no? We call them isotope. That's correct. So therefore, if for example we have carbon 13, okay, we have carbon 13, how many neutron does it have? Okay. If we have carbon 13, how many neutrons do we have? We have 7, right? If we have carbon 12, how many neutrons do we have? 6. If we have carbon sinabi ko na yung 13 ba? If we have carbon 14, sige, how many neutrons do we have? Okay, 8. So therefore, neutrons, okay, can be an indicator of an isotope. Okay? Neutrons can be an indicator of an isotope. And isotopes are actually elements with the same atomic the same atomic number but different atomic mass. Okay, again, isotopes are actually elements with the same atomic number but different atomic masses. Okay, can you think of another element apart from carbon na isotope? Apart from carbon, uranium is yes. No, we have uranium isotopes, potassium. Okay, meron pa ba yung very common? Hydrogen. Okay? So, ayan yung hinintay ko, hydrogen. So, it's also, meron din siyang, tawag dito, different atomic mass. Yes. Okay? So, next question. What is the maximum number of electron that can be accommodated in N is equal to 3? Okay, energy level 3. Is it A2, B8, C18, D32? Okay. C. Okay, may B. May 8. Okay, B, yes. C. Wild guess, it's okay? Alright. Okay, though. Okay, di ba, meron tayong sa energy level number 1, you have your S, di ba? So energy level number 2 yung SP. Okay? Then energy level N3 is SPD. So, ilan yon? That is actually 18. Alright? So, tignan nga natin kung tama. Okay, so N, 1, 2, 3, no? So we have the SPD, no? Okay? So ang tanong natin is, ano ba yung tanong natin? What is the maximum number of electron that can be accommodated? So for example, sa S, no, orbital, ilan ang kaya nating maximum electrons? That's 2. Tama? For S, we have 2. Okay? Ilan sa P? We have 6. Ilan sa D? We have 10. So 2 plus 6, 8 plus 10 is equal to 80. Okay? So the answer here is letter C. So the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in N is equal to 3 is 18. Okay? So for example, N1, so that is 2. For N2, that is 2 plus 6, that's 8. Sa N4, that is 2 plus 6, 8 plus 10, 18 plus 14, ilan? Okay, that is 32. Alright? Okay? Natatandaan nyo pa? Nakalimutan na? Sige. Hopefully ay may mga ganong simple questions, no? So principal quantum number, no, with the symbol N identifies the energy level. So that is the third energy level sa question natin. Or the level 3, energy level 3. Or shell of the orbital. Okay? So basically, for angular momentum or quantum number with the symbol this kind of italic L, which indicates the shape of the orbital and regarded as the sublevel or subshell. We also have the magnetic quantum number with the symbol M, L, specifying the orientation or the number of orbitals in space. Then we also have the electron spin quantum number with the symbol MS, which indicates the direction of the electron spin on its own axis. So basically, this is important in understanding so that we'll be able to identify the maximum electrons that should be occupied by a certain energy level, as well as the number of subshells. Okay? Sige. Another question related to that. How many orbitals are there in an atom if it's blank, if its n is equal to 4? Okay? A1, B9, C4, D16. All right, so what's your answer? Okay, put it in the chat box. Okay, can see some uncertain answers. It's okay. All right. So at least you're trying. Okay. I can see C. I can see B. I can see D. All right. So how many orbitals are there in an atom? If it's n is equal to 4, no? Or it's in the 4th energy level. So that is 16. So let's look at it again. No? So tignan natin. So 16 siya. So ang tinatanong is the number of orbitals, di ba? Ayan, the total number of orbitals in shell. So for example, in energy level number 1, okay? So the total number of orbitals is actually 1, okay? Then for energy level number 2, this is actually 4, okay? So because we have the number of orbitals in a subshell here, you can see 1 plus 3 is 4 here. Then for energy level number 3, that is 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5 plus 9. And then for energy level number 4, 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9 plus 7, that is 6. Okay, so these are the total number of orbitals in the shell. Okay, so basically, we have to know lang the maximum of electrons. Ang very fundamental lagi dito yung SPDF. So, alam nyo yan. So S is to 2, P is to 6, D is to 10, F is to 30. And then the energy level and its maximum electrons that it can hold. Okay? Next. Ayan. So, nasabi natin kanina, when we feel, for example, the arrows, no, in the different, tawag dito, orbitals, and for example, the S orbital. So, First up, then down. Then for example, 2s orbital, up and down. Wala nang problema kasi s orbital ito. But for the p orbital, for example, there are only 3 electrons that should be occupying our orbital. So there's ang pagsulat natin is top muna, no? Sa top, 1, 2, and 3. Hindi pwedeng 1, then baba ka, 2, then 3, no? You have to the last 3 electrons singly occupy the 3 2p orbitals, and they all have the same spin. So the second 2 electrons here pair up. Kaya kompleto yung ating orbital. Okay? So these are something to do with Pauli's exclusion principle and even your hands rule. Okay? So next question. This is something to do with your electronic configuration. Okay? Which electron configuration? Which of the following is the correct electron configuration for a neutral atom that has Z, which is, what do you mean by Z? Atomic number of 7. 1s2, 2s3, 2p2, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, 1s1, 2s1, 2p5, 1s2, 2s1, 2p5. Okay? Madali nating makukuha kasi alam natin na hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa next orbital without filling in the maximum number. So, yung 1s1, mali na yun agad kasi s can occupy 2. So, dapat 1s2. Okay? So, wala na yung c. Wala na rin tong isang c d dito kasi 1 yon, no? Ito naman, over, nag-3 na siya. So, the best answer here is yan. So, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Okay? Natatandaan nyo pa ba yung electronic configuration natin? Diba? So, let's look at the electronic configuration. Okay? So, ito, some examples, no? So, for example, lithium, you have 3 electrons. Yan, 1, 2, 3. So, 1s2, 2s1. Okay? Hindi niya na fill yung orbital na to. Only the upward arrow. Okay? Beryllium, complete. No? Boron, 5. Okay? So, only the first orbital of 2p is occupied. Then carbon, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. And then ito yung nasa question natin. Pag na-fill out natin yung p6, yan, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Then 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Okay? So, madali lang naman yan, no? Sinusulat lang natin yan and then mag-a-arrow lang tayo. Once we write it, alam na natin yan. Then we arrow. Ganito lang din ginagawa ko, no? I-align ko lang muna sila. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 lang. Hindi siya 3d10 to 6d10, 6d4, f5. So, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 4s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4p10, 4p6, 5s2, and so on. Okay? So, this is something to do with electronic configuration. So, paano yan itatanong? Well, merong lang mga simple elements that you need to arrange according to the correct electronic configuration, or you will be asked of what element, no, based on the electronic configuration. Kasi you can guess an element based on their electronic configuration, provided that you know the atomic sequencing, no? Especially in the first 30 elements. So at least alam lang na yun. Hindi naman kailangan sa uladuhin lahat ng elements. At least first 30 elements, alam niyo ay yung mga atomic number, no? But sometimes sa exam, ibibigay naman yun. Okay? May mga, kung mag-ano naman, may mga tawag dito, context clues. Okay? Oo, mayroong for example, ito, 3D9, for example, no? Let's say, for example, let's say, kasi ang ginagawa nila, para lang maano yung matawag dito, para lang ma-highlight yung energy level, which is 4. Yes. Kaya talagang dinudulo nila yon. It has something to do with the yung location niya in what energy level. Kasi that actually tawag dito connotes the energy level. So there are instances na ganyan. Kaya may mga tawag dito, may mga shortcut methods na ginagawa. Ina-identify yung first element na lang and then konting electronic configuration. Yeah. So may mga instances sa lanthanide and actinide series. Thank you for pointing out. Okay. Next, okay, which is which given pair of chemical formulas and names is correct? A, Fe2O3 iron 2 oxide, B, Na2CO3 sodium carbonate, C, BaOH, barium hydroxide, D, S2Cl2 disulfur dichlorine. Okay, which is correct? Now we're looking at the one that is correct. The rest are erroneous for some reasons. Okay. 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 I can see a lot of these. Tama kaya? Yes, no? This one is correct, no? What makes A is incorrect is because sa crisscrossing, dapat kukunin niya yung subscript, no? Okay, ng oxygen, which is 3. So it should be iron 3 oxide. Okay? So barium hydroxide, okay, it should be OH2, no? BaOH2. While disulfur dichloride, it should be dichloride and not dichlorine. Okay? Tama. Okay, dito pala, no? Iron, 3 oxide, barium, okay, hydroxide, and then disulfur dichloride. Okay? Okay? Next. Before the idea of the nucleus radiation was first known, the term radioactivity was coined. Who coined this term? A. Becquerel, B. Curie, C. Roentgen, D. Chadwick. Okay. All right. I can see C's. Okay. Any other guess? All right. B. Okay, nag-iba na sila din. All right. Actually, no, the term radioactivity was coined by, correct. It's Curie, Marie Curie. Remember, no, tawag dito, responsible din siya, no, sa discovery ng mga radioactive, no, elements. So, Marie Curie, no, actually coined the term radioactivity. Okay? And above exhibits, yes. Sabi dito ni Sir Rudolph, element with atomic number 83 and above exhibits radioactivity. No? Kaya nga, it is also very useful, no, in the tawag dito, some radioactive elements, no, in the cure of in medical field, no, for cure of some tawag dito, some diseases and even some cancer. Yes, si X-ray pala si Roentgen. Yes, all right. So next, what is the molarity of the solution containing 1.4 mole of ascorbic acid in 350 ml of solution? Okay. Is it 4? Okay, 4 molar, 0.0004, 250, or 14? Okay. Alright, so we will just, ano gagawin lang natin dyan? Alright, we will just, okay, sige. Nag-iisip pa, nagko-compute pa, sige. Okay? Yes. First, we will of course convert, no? Yung ml to liter. Okay? And then proceed with division. Okay? So what's the answer? Nakuha na ba? Okay? So if we're going to convert 350 ml to liters, ilan na yan? 350 divided by, ilan ba ang, ano, diba? So that is, okay, that's correct. Sige, let's reveal the answer. That is 4M. Okay, so that's letter A. Okay, tama kayo, no? So this is how we do it, no? So 1.4, then we're going to convert the dito, 350 ml to liters, that is 0.35 or 0.350. So that is 1.4 mole divided by 0.350 liters. then that will give us 4. Okay, some of you got it correct. Okay, so that is on molarity, no? In terms of moles of solute over liters of solution. So if the given is ml, then we convert it first to liters. Okay, next. Which of the following is also known as the paraffin or saturated hydrocarbon? A. Alkane, B. Alkene, C. Alkyne, D. Cycloalkene. Alkane. Okay. Any guess if you're not sure? Okay. All right. Sige, I can see A, D. Okay, so the correct answer is? Sige. Yes, sige. Yes, it's actually letter A. Okay, it's an alkane. So basically, this is also known as the paraffin or saturated hydrocarbon. So alkane, also called as paraffin or saturated hydrocarbon, is straight or branched chain hydrocarbon with only single covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. While alkene contains carbon-to-carbon double bonds, while alkyne contains carbon-to-carbon triple bond. Okay? All right. So cycloalkane, however, is close-chained alkane, which is also called cycloparaffin or naphthalene. Okay. Next, which of the following is the most acidic? A. Calamansi juice, B. Carbonated drink, C. Urine, D. Vinegar. Yeah, sige. Actually, yes. Sige. Isagutin muna natin, then I'll answer a direct message. Okay. Kaya hindi ako masyado ring lalagay din ng computation sa ko. Yes. All right, sige. So which of the following is the most acidic? What do you think? It's the, I can see C's and A's. Parang natuwa ako dun sa urine. Okay. Anyway, all right. So that is actually calamansi juice. All right. So calamansi juice, the pH level is about 2.1, no? This is actually very acidic. Then vinegar is 2.5. Carbonated drink is approximately 2.5 to 4. And urine is around 5.5 to 7. Lalo na kapag sobrang, you are drinking a lot or adequate water. There was a question, wait lang, ang daming sagot. Sabi, sir, question, does the LEPT exam would not contain problems with complex computation? Because it was said that we are not allowed, yes, to use nor bring scientific. You are not. Only math majors are allowed not to use calculators, particular scientific calculators for their majorship, not to be used in Prof Ed and Gen Ed. Now, in the past, based from my experience, okay, wala naman, no? Hindi naman siya complex computation. Some basic computation lang siya. And some are, some can be very obvious, no, in terms of the alternatives naman. Now, this is the very first time that science majorship in general will So, I'm also expecting some items, siguro, meron namang mga 10 items siguro that requires you to compute manually. So just be ready. There are provisions of sometimes they provide formula and sometimes the given are very clear, and so you just have to proceed with your computation. Okay? So I only included in this mga minor computation, no, in physics and chem. Okay? So next. So chemical bond, which is formed when atoms share electrons, ionic bond, covalent bond, metallic bond, no bond. You're welcome. All right. Okay, so what's that? What's the bond? Okay, that's correct. No, so basically that is your covalent bond. No, so formed when atoms share electrons. Covalent bond. Okay. Next, Chemical bond, yes. That is covalent bond. Okay. All right. So almost the entire mass of an atom is concentrated in the blank. Is it electron, neutron, nucleus, proton? All right. I can see C's here, a lot of C's, yes. So the entire mass of an atom, yes, is indeed concentrated in the nucleus where the protons and neutrons are actually located. Then outside the nucleus, you have your neutrons. Okay. Okay, next question. A student is a sample of aluminum that has a mass of 27 grams and a volume of 10 cubic centimeter. What is the density of the aluminum? Okay. Sige. I'll let you ponder on that. Saglit lang ha. I'll grab a drink. Saglit. Okay. All right. Therefore, yeah. So what's the formula for density? Okay. So that is P is equal to mass over volume. That's correct. Okay, so the answer here is letter A. That's correct. 2.7, that's correct. Gram per cubic centimeter, mass over volume. That is density. Mass over volume. All right, so you have your density, okay? Mass over volume. Okay, so so that we'll be able to tawag dito, identify or compute for the density. Question: what is the density of water? What is the density of water? Okay. Do you remember the density of water? Yes, that's correct. Okay, 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So, if for example, okay, the density of water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter and the object, no, for example, is less than 1 gram per cubic centimeter, then that particular object will actually float. The same is true, for example, there is one planet in the solar system that when you put in a very huge tawag dito, basin of water will actually float because its density is less than 1 gram per cubic centimeter. What planet is that? Ano yung planet na mag-float because the density is around, if I'm not mistaken, 0.8 gram per cubic centimeter. It's actually, is it Jupiter? It is known for its very, very beautiful rings. And that is, yes, that is Saturn. Okay, so Saturn will actually float when you put it in the basin of water. The rest of the planets, especially the terrestrial planets, are actually in average has 5 gram per cubic centimeter, including the Earth. Parang 5.7. So basically, if you, for example, put in a very tawag dito, huge basin of water, then that will actually sink. No? So more than one, it will actually sink. Okay? So next. Which of the following is a compound? A, cemented wall. B, gold. C, dry ice. D, tincture of iodine. Tingnan natin kung talagang nakikinig kayo. Ayan, nakikinig naman sila. All right. Yes, no, because this is a repeated question. We just repackaged it. So yeah, no, the answer is letter C, dry ice, because this is a frozen carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is composed of two elements, the carbon and the oxygen. Okay. Gold is not a compound. It's a blank. Gold is a what? It's an element. That's correct. It cannot be it cannot be transformed into further substance because it's already a pure substance. Okay? Iodine, no, is of course an example also of what's an iodine? It's an example of element. Okay? What's the chemical symbol of iodine? Yes. What's the chemical symbol for iron? Okay, wag ka nga dito, ano, kasi nga mukha ng, iodine, iron, no? Iron is Fe, ferrum, di ba? Alright, so what else? Cemented wall, it's just a mixture. Now, for example, nakita nyo sa board exam, alloy. Okay. Is it a compound, element, or mixture? Is it element, compound, or mixture? Alloy, for example, nasa option. And then you are asked to identify which of the what is alloy. It's actually it's actually a mixture. Tatandaan na, it's a mixture, not a compound, no? May mga halo na yon na iba-iba, no? Apart from the it's a mixture of metals. So alloy, like for example, gold alloy, pag nakakita kayo ng gold alloy, remember, hindi magiging maganda ang alahas mo kapag gold lang talagang pure yan because gold is too soft. Kailangan niyang may ilagay doon para at least mag-harden. So pag nakita alloy is actually a mixture. What type of mixture? Sige nga, is it a solution, colloid, suspension? Alloy is what type of mixture? It's okay, the answer will be solution. Okay, so ang sasagot sa board exam, it's a solution. That's correct, it's a solution. All right, okay, next. Which is the most likely to change blue litmus paper to red? Is it ammonia in water, lime water, detergent solution, vinegar? Of course, the resulting substance must be an acid. Kasi blue to red, right? And so, which is which? Of course, that's your vinegar. That is your vinegar from blue to red. Okay? How many protons are present in an atom are present if an atom has a mass number of 23, okay, and atomic number of 11. Okay. Siyempre, ilan? Okay, syempre. Okay. So, sabi mass number 20, atomic number of 11, tinatanong ilan ang proton. Okay? Because atomic number is equal to the number of proton in a neutral atom. And so, the answer will be A, 11. Okay? All right. Next question. What happens to atomic number during a chemical reaction? Is it A changes, B changes alternately, B remains the same, C changes and then is restored? All right, okay. All right. It's actually, yes, it remains the same. All right, the atomic number during a chemical reaction remains the same. Kaya nga may identified yan from element 1 to element 118. Okay, it remains the same. Next, all of the following are temperature scales except. What is the exception? I can see B's. Some are not unsure. It's okay. Yeah, we've been using Celsius, right? We've been using Kelvin as well. I'm using Rankine also in my class. And so, syempre, more. Okay. Ayan. So, B is an exemption. Okay, you can actually introduce ranking, no? Plus lang naman yan for conversion. Pwede na yan as early as elementary. Pwede. Okay? Okay, we still have a few questions. All right. The temperature scale, degree Fahrenheit, is named after blank. Gregory Fahrenheit, Guy von Fahrenheit, Gabriel Daniel Fahrenheit, George Fahrenheit. Okay. Sino nga ulit yun? C? All right. Okay, I can see C and D. All right. No worries. Okay, it's actually okay.
Letter C.
Yes, letter C.
Yes.
Okay, C, Gabriel Daniel Fahrenheit. Okay, how about C, Celsius? What's the name?
Under Celsius.
Yes, that's correct. Anders Celsius. All right, so Anders Celsius. And then, of course, kay Kelvin.
Kelvin is Lord Kelvin.
Si Lord Kelvin. Ano yung tunay na pangalan ni Lord Kelvin? Si William Thomson. Si William Thomson Lord Kelvin. Kasi parang yung Lord Kelvin is parang it's honorific. No? Parang ano siya, His Majesty, parang His Royal Highness. Parang, okay? Yes, by the monarch. That's correct. Okay. And that's it, no? So we're done. Okay. With our today's review session for chemistry and physics, no? I hope you learned a lot for today. So last talaga. Last day natin tomorrow, okay? I will be covering science instruction and ano ba? Science instruction and research. Okay? So before we leave, no, attendance check muna tayo, no? You know naman, we have to submit our attendance. So let me first stop record.